What has happened is this. To sum up what I've said, the 19th into the 20th century saw a change. It was thought by most that the Bible is all history, containing eyewitness accounts that are factually true. People read the Bible in the traditional way and took this to be Christianity. But Strauss and others said that the New Testament is in part history. Jesus lived, preached, went to Jerusalem, was crucified, but also a set of stories told by the church that are not factually true. They're ways of conveying not factual truth, but theological truth, and to do so using metaphors or analogies such as illness and resurrection. Just as the creation story, which is not a factual account, we are looking at something other than history. In the creation story, you necessarily go beyond the facts. The one fact is that we have a world. But when some people hear this applied to the New Testament, which narrates historical sounding events said to occur after 3 days, they reject Strauss's reading, saying that nothing has changed in the properly Christian way of reading. In effect, take it or leave it. And people leave it because they are contemporary people. And there is belief, the red, and a growing non-belief, the black. What moves them to reject Christianity? Remember that each was Christian. To a significant extent, they are being asked by self-appointed defenders of the tradition to believe in things which they cannot believe. They are being asked to believe that the Bible records history. But our conclusion is that the Rain view of what history is does not conquer. After the historical examination of Christianity, there are serious options in the understanding of Christianity, and some Christians become quite disinclined to tell other Christians what to think. The introduction of this last position constitutes a theological change. After Strauss et al., it is not that Christianity has been corrected, but neither does Christianity become whatever you want it to be. Christianity becomes seen as the effect to make sense of God through Christ, whichever understanding you yourself have of biblical language, miracles, etc. And this is not what it used to be. Straight thinking is not the old view of orthodoxy. This new view does not take over, but that it exists has changed our situation from an all or nothing choice. History then brought about 2 things. One was negative. In the decades since the 19th century, Christianity was taken away from large numbers of people. Taken away. In this age, the so-called post-Christian era began. This was an era that C.S. Lewis traced back to the early 19th century. Many people could no longer believe on the old terms, but their disbelief involved an error. People did not understand the thing actually removed from them was not Christianity, but only the old terms of belief, the old way of believing. To use an analogy, when what is put aside is only one form of the thing itself has not been retired. But on these terms, people lost. This contributed to a century of decline. The other thing that occurred in this period was positive. The historical examination of the Bible gave many people, modern people, their own understanding of Christianity, without, it is claimed, betraying it. It is true that many people believe that Christianity is betrayed, if you say that. Christianity is the effort to make sense of God through Christ, which makes it sound subjective. It seems to let you throw out what Christianity requires you to believe. But that view no longer sets the terms of belief, and that it does not cast a different light on history. History is not a growing darkness for Christianity. Instead, there is a new era. We have moved out of the period in which we thought Christianity is such and such, take it or leave it. Christianity includes opposed views that are in contention with one another. And this contention is a part of the effort. This is not a post-Christian era. The Bible is not, for this group of people, an antiquated book of unbelievable things. A book, as Nietzsche thought, meant for those people, not meant for me, a modern person. Modern people increasingly, as what I'm saying here becomes clear, no longer have Nietzsche's very reduced options. This group of Christians joins the more traditionalist people in seeing the truth of the New Testament. By no means has it become clear that this has happened. What color do we call the 21st century? It's not all red, but it's not all black. The old terms of the literal reading still exert their hold. For instance, Dale Allison, prefacing his book on the resurrection of Jesus, writes, "I'm keenly aware of my multiple limitations in the face of the historically complex, philosophically dense, theologically momentous, and religiously sensitive issues that this book confronts. Jesus' resurrection may be Christianity's holy of holies, but it is also a maze of haunting conundrums, and I have not found Ariadne's thread. It is not an easy thing to convey a different sense of the Holy of Holies than either traditional believers or Nietzschean rejectors of traditional belief uphold. What matters, Allison says, is the arguments, and people do mistakenly hear this as already giving up on the truth instead of opening yourself up to the truth. But the new claim is that the truth does not require you to hold all the presuppositions of the traditionalists. There is no sense that everyone must have the right presuppositions, the same ones as me. You may hold one position prior to hearing the argument and another position afterward. Which one is Christian? Both. It is now the case, however, that Christianity is broader. Should it become generally clear what a pluralism Christianity is, I'm not predicting this, just saying simply that it may become clear, then the post-Christian age, named after the end of the Second World War, will stop seeming to be our fate. It will then be clear that there are many ways along which people, by way of their understanding of Christ, seek to approach God. They are not all good ways, which is why you yourself abandon some paths in the course of your life. But the path that you leave behind is a part of your way to God. This returns to many people their role as God's people when it becomes clearer that the effort to make sense through Christ of God includes all the positions. Far fewer people in the 21st century will find themselves in the position of Nietzsche et al. In the 19th and 20th, compelled to reject Christianity, left with only the options of Nietzschean self-will, or scientific materialism, or individual whatever. By no means is that all that will make sense to them. Far fewer people will think that God has ceased to exist as a reality for mankind. Life is not deprived of significance, leaving mankind to collapse under the weight of its own senselessness. But throughout the 20th century, people did think that the only thing they could do was to be an unbeliever and embrace the various dead ends offered by what Jesus called the world. The fruit of what occurred in Christianity in the 19th century is still there to be gathered in the 21st century. Thank you.